talk to no, I don't want to talk to anyone, to be honest, right now. I just want to listen.
Oh, okay. I will. That's no trouble. Rolf.
The Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu.
Just a second. Let Rolf say something after.
All right. I just wanted to back up briefly to that description of Palestine and Jordan. I know Palestinians. I've known them for a long while. I've met them in the diaspora in the Middle East, including Kuwait, Jordan, Egypt, etc. And you don't have to know Palestinians to know this. You can look up the British history of the Mandate, which was a brief period after the Ottoman Empire was beaten in World War I. You guys, everything the person said earlier was accurate. The one mistake that's being propagated these days recently is there's a mistake that Jordan and Palestine for a brief interim period were one country. They weren't. They were both under British mandate for a period, including other countries. So after World War I, the European powers divided up the different nations and said, we're going to rule this one temporarily until we figure it all out. And the French, of course, had Lebanon. The French had Iraq for a while. They traded them like, properties, but they weren't permanent rulers. They were just trying to figure it all out. And that period of
Rolf, there wasn't a Palestine.
Would you mind?
Are you getting confused with Transjordan?
I have to leave soon, so just let me finish.
So I got to go too. I have to go do brain surgery. Are you confusing this with Transjordan?
No. Just let me finish.
Yeah. So when was Palestine independent?
Please let me finish.
I see. You can speech or something?
I have to leave soon. I'm not going to argue.
Yeah, I have to leave soon too.
Yeah, all right.
When is your brain surgery?
Was
that a lie?
No, I'm going to go do brain surgery.
So you lie?
Can you let him speak, please?
Doesn't matter what he said. Right. Palestine existed as a nation on and off for a long time. Everybody can debate that. But
what was the nation?
Palestine.
Let him speak, please.
Let me fucking finish. All right. Palestine was occupied by the British after the Ottomans were defeated, and Jordan was a country that also existed at the time. It had many years, and prior to that it was Syria, which was all of that region. Now, at the time of Palestine and Jordan, the British took over them. Jordan was changed its name to Transjordan. They were both ruled temporarily for only about 20 to 40 years. They were still two countries, but they were both under British mandate. Now, people are trying to say that was one country. There was never a single country that was Palestine plus Jordan. They were always two countries temporarily owned by the British. And so it's a lie to say that the current Palestinians in Jordan were indigenous. They're called Palestinians because they came from Palestine. They are diaspora, and the largest number of diaspora from Palestine were refugees from Palestine who are still in Jordan.
When was Palestine a country?
One second. Take care, everybody. Have a good time. Cheers.
So he was.
Cheers, have a good one, boy.
That's my fault. Everything that he said just shows such a big, massive ignorance, and not only ignorance. It was so. I forgot this word in English. Arrogant. Never mind. Such an arrogance. I couldn't believe that. It was insane.
He didn't stick around. He came in, he told a lot of lies, and he left.
Yeah.
So what I said when I didn't make it clear that the original concept of Lord Balfour, when he presented to the League of Nations, was that there be an Arab homeland and a homeland, not a Jewish homeland, a homeland for the Jews. I don't know if the language makes it sound differently or not. And that the original concept was that the Jewish homeland would be a far greater land mass, and it was whittled 2 or 3 times. Never included Gaza. Never ever included Gaza. but it included the Judea and Samaria, and it actually, if you look at the Torah, that said that include.
Hello?
Hey, Tom.
Yeah, I apologize. Very sorry. 10 minutes. If you home, I can get there in 10 minutes.
Okay, sounds good. I'm here. No rush.
All right. See you. Bye.
Okay, thanks, mate.
My ancestors, my father actually, my late father, my grandfather, but many of their relatives, besides being murdered by the Bolsheviks and the Nazis, later afterwards, they lived in Ukraine and Georgia, maybe. I don't know what other countries in that region, not in the Pale of Settlement, and many of them. A large transfer went to Latvia and Lithuania, thousands of miles away, forced transfer by the Soviets. And that's not what anybody's proposing nowadays, although I did see it somewhere said here, why not just send all of them to various countries around the world? Well, I don't know. They're in the wrong place. They should have been in Jordan for 75 years now. They were purposely made to stay as so-called phony refugees.
Yep, it's I mean, there are laws in other countries, in other Arab countries, that specifically prevent Palestinians from becoming citizens. It really defies. It's a different set of rules for them than for anywhere else. The United Nations has one organization. They have one organization to deal with refugees, and then a separate organization dedicated just to Palestinian refugees. And it's still continuing 75 years later with no plan other than to let these poor people wallow in self-pity, poverty, lack of statehood. There's no plan. There's no plan to say, hey, you've been in Lebanon for 30, 40, 50 years. Let's make you Lebanese citizens. Unfortunately, there is no plan like that. Unlike any other country in the world. Can you imagine if people came to this country and we said, hey, you have to live in these camps, and if you're here for 40, 50 years, it doesn't matter. That would be considered a great wrong. Thanks. And I'm against it. If there's any people here in the United States 40, 50 years ago and still are not citizens, then something needs to be done. I'm getting a call. Bye-bye.
In US, when it was invaded by Japan, it retaliated. Japan in the Pearl Harbor attack, it killed 1,000 people. US retaliated by dropping 2 atom bombs. But here, when Israel is trying to defend itself, I could see the drama all over the world. Even in US, like somebody said, people go into the universities, they say, ban Israel. The US should not send armies to Israel, and people, the youngsters. I don't know what's going on in US. Why people are turning against Israel like this? Perhaps Israel has to, spend some amount of money or some advertisement more to speak from your part, from your side of history. Only since I'm interested in Jewish history, I know the facts. But if I ask a fellow citizen, Indian citizen, he would definitely support Palestine because of the TV, media, everything is supporting Palestine. So I think you Jews and Israel has to talk a lot about its side of history, which I see is not being done so efficiently as the Palestinian side does.
Do you think that will matter?
100%. 100%.
Wasn't Trump. We discovered that there is like a polio, and we have like we said, and we started a polio vaccine program in Gaza, right? Does anyone even talk about it, even care about it? No one cares about it. But everyone's saying Israel is responsible for the polio, they are doing this. They are saying that we're starving the civilians, although we have coordination with COGAT, and we tell that to the public. We have coordinations by COGAT with other organizations to get aid into Gaza. Right, and the problem right now is with distribution, not with aid coming in. Right now, we say all of those stuff. Like people saying, why are you bombing hospitals and mosques? And we say because Hamas uses them for military purposes. And what is the response that we get? Nothing, but just hate. So it doesn't really matter what Israel says. I don't think it will ever matter what Israel says. They will just say, oh, they are lying, or oh, those are all excuses, and so on and so forth.
Okay, that's...
We do have very capable spokespeople, for the IDF or for the government or for Israel. They are going and interviewed hundreds, if not thousands of times all around the world. Do you think that will matter to anyone? Like when Hamas said that an Israeli airstrike killed 500 people in the Al-Hali hospital, right? Every newspaper literally said that in their title, in their headlines of their sites. Israel's strike killed 500 people in Al-Hali. When Israel, and no one asked, by the way, for Israel's response, but when Israel said, no, it wasn't us, it was the PIJ, and all the consensus of the ammunition analysts agreed with Israel, all the intelligence agencies agreed with Israel, and Israel provided numerous amount of evidence, like every single time. What were the response from the media? There was a blast. They corrected, and listen to what they corrected. They didn't correct it to PIJ strike Al-Hali hospital by misfire. They said a blast in a hospital. So people, just think about how people believe a terrorist, like Islamist organization, over a free democratic country that has a free press and a high standard of research in the IDF.
You're onto something. I think we should be grateful to people like Soren and Aziz and other people, A or AB or whatever. We should be grateful for these spaces. I was thinking about this the other day because it's really scratching an itch. It's really meeting a need for me. And tell me if you feel this way. I mean, are you in Israel, Rodi?
Yeah.
So maybe in Israel it's easier for you to find people to have these conversations with. But I'm in a very progressive part of the United States, and it's been very hard for me to even find people. Like, I love listening to Soren talk. I think that he talks a lot of bullshit. But you're talking about how people don't care when they see the facts. The facts are reported, they don't care. It's even worse than that, Rudy. They don't even want to see the facts. I talk with them. I listen to their side. I say, hey, do you want to consider? They're like, no, I'm good. I've made up my mind. There's nothing that could change my mind. And what I think it is, and I was going to answer Vasantan's question. He said, I don't know what's going on in the United States. And I think that what's going on is a lot of political decisions are being decided based on emotional feelings. And I think, Rodi, the way that people are seeing this, it's ironic because a lot of the Arab world has been colonized by Islam, but the way that people are seeing it really is colonizer versus victims of colonization. And they have lumped America as a colonizer, and they have lumped Israel as a colonizer, and the facts do not matter. No facts matters.
Ishmael, I I would give the credit to L, although people said it before him, he was the one who made me think about that. It is not even about Israel. It is something a little bit greater than that. It's like it's on the scale of a civilization. People just became anti-Western. And in virtue of that, they see, oh, Israel's so democratic, so prosperous, like economically, strong, so on and so forth. And they think, look, and America is like their the biggest ally of America, and so on and so forth. And they think, oh, they must be Western, and in virtue of them being Western, they are wrong. They are in the wrong side of history. So it's bigger than Israel. So it's bigger. It's bigger than oppressed and oppressors. It's anti-Western altogether.
Breaking news related to Israel and the United States. An IED was thrown into the yard of the Israeli embassy in Washington. No damage, not to people or to staff, but it just happened.
Where? In the embassy, where?
In the Israeli embassy in Washington. Mm-hmm. Just like we got it.
DC is.
What was it? It was an explosive device.
An improvised explosive device.
Mm-hmm. Right. Also, you want to do me a favor? You want to, or either mod me or do it yourself, delete the Heil Hitler from the chat? Or the Sieg Heil and all that?
No, don't delete.
You can just report it if you want. Just report it.
No. First of all, report it. Then after people report it here,
He said just.
then I will delete. Oh my God! Fucking hate. Ha ha ha!
I think they deleted it themselves.
Yeah, they did.
I guess, yeah. Okay.
So funny. What a great joke.
Yeah.
It's also well structured. You know, there is the setup and then there is a pun. It's the Heil is the setup and Hitler is the pun.
You just don't get the joke, Lodi.
Yeah. I'm sorry. The Jews are not known to be funny, Daniel.
Mm-hmm. Actually, there are so many, probably Muslim comedians. Like the only one that I know is this Bassam Yusuf, and to be honest, he's just not funny. Like he's not funny. He's annoying. He's not funny. But there are many Jewish comedians.
To be honest, we also have our shortcomings, Daniel. We have this Judith one
for shortcomings, but we have a lot of.
No, there are some bad Jewish comedians. There is this something.
Yes, we have many comedians. A lot of them are very good, even at the top, from Seinfeld and onwards. But which Muslim comedians? Name one, even a bad one, except Bassem Youssef, with a bad one.
Okay. By the way, this is not to trash on Muslims. It's just to ask for out of curiosity for people that will accuse us of Islamophobia.
They were listen, I will not change my way because someone will blame me, because I already understood that no matter what I will say, no matter what we will do, they will blame us.
Daniel, you don't understand. Daniel, you don't understand. I am paid
that you have integrity with, and that you believe, and if it's not coming out of hate or coming, then just you don't need to apologize.
I understand, but Daniel, I am part of the Hasbara. They give me money. No. The government gives me money, and I have to represent Israel correctly, and I cannot allow the Islamophobia here. Okay? We have 20% Muslims, Daniel.
Someone said we all did Hasbara scholarship.
I'm picking on that. Oh yeah, I know.
Good afternoon. Excuse me. It's my phone.
I also like how Americans pronounce Hasbara. Yeah, exactly. Hasbara.
Well, they have the R. The R.
Yeah, it's because of the R.
It's an R with a Z. It's like a, what do you call it? I don't know what the word is for that. It's a hard R, not a soft R. Oh, it's a R.
It's
But there's no L
it's called
inside.
Valar.
So there is no L because I heard Hezbollah. So it's Hezbollah, not Hezbollah.
Hezbollah. I like that.
Someday we spoke with Soren, and I said to Soren, you choose between Hasbara and Hezbollah, and you made a wrong choice. You choose Hezbollah, yes.
Israel's Hezbollah.
By the way, there is now a live press conference of Netanyahu in English to the foreign media. It's on YouTube.
I don't really want to listen to him. Can you tell me what he said, Daniel?
I will listen.
Go ahead.
Senior military commander, get Gaza City, get the Shifa Hospital, which
You want to listen?
get the
Wait, Sergio, can you put it on a... do you have a bot?
Sorry, hello?
Do you have a bot to play it for everyone? Now as I think about it, I actually do want to listen to this.
Hi, I just wanted to tell you we took the train with your friend that always drives you.
I was gonna call him to find out if Ben
Yaakov, mute up. Yaakov.
No, I was interested in the conversation, Daniel. What are you doing? I'm kidding.
Yeah, he's wonderful.
Just mute you.
No, mute it.
Then, yeah, I'll just... Then I'll just give you also a please.
He's always going this, Yaakov.
Yeah. The second season of the life of Yaakov.
So now, since the US is taken by left, do you think a future with India and Israel going a very strong bond, and India being the next, greatest support for Israel?
I wish. I actually don't know if it will actually, because
By the way,
also
I'm sorry that I'm stopping you. It's with questions. It's not giving a speech. It's answering questions. So it might be interesting, actually.
Oh, sure. Okay, yeah, we'll look this up. Is it right now?
Yeah.
What's the Netanyahu live?
Just do a live. Go to YouTube live, and it will be one of the top.
ILTV Israel News. Okay.
Can anyone broadcast it like good?
If anyone can podcast it here right now, it will be very appreciated. If not, I'll leave and listen to this.
I just got a news flash, a big news flash. Election coming in Canada. Election coming in Canada. Minority government's about to be defeated.
What does that mean?
That means when Trump is elected and the Canadian Liberal government is defeated, I don't know. We'll finally, North America maybe be going on the right track. Hand in hand.
Okay, I'll go to listen to this, and then
responsibility is it's not merely to share the Senate, the emotion, but also to exercise judgment, the correct judgment, to make sure that these horrors are not happening. I believe that our strategy is the best way to achieve.
It should help. Humanitarian conditions in Gaza have degraded so much that diseases like polio and hepatitis A are now spreading. We have seen countless children be orphaned. We have seen countless mothers lose their children. How much is too much, sir? At what point is it time?
Well, we'll end the war when we achieve our goals and making sure that Hamas can't repeat such atrocities. But we're fighting this war, and a just war just means, in fact, it means that no other army has ever fought. No other army has taken the precautions that Israel has taken, sometimes at great risk, to make sure that we minimize the number of casualties. You talk about polio. We enabled now massive vaccination of, I told them we want 90% of the Gaza people in Gaza vaccinated. I think 200,000, I think were vaccinated today. We put in 1 million tons of aid, 700,000 tons of food. That's unheard of. We've taken, because we think that every civilian death is a tragedy. Well, Hamas, every civilian death is a strategy for us. Right? So we've taken precautions to avoid civilian deaths that we know are urban warfare state. We've issued millions of text messages, millions of flyers, hundreds of thousands of phone calls. We actually told people to say, get up, we lose the elements from us. So as a result of that, the most deadly acts urban warfare theater in history, where you have 35,000 Hamas terrorists, 50 meters above ground, 50 meters below ground, and most intricate, complex, underground territorial network on Earth. We've been able to achieve the lowest ratio of civilians to combatant deaths. There's a part of urban warfare. It's 1 to 1, even by those numbers of the Palestinian officers, because we can probably around 18,000 terrorists, certainly no less than 70,000. So the ratio is about 1 to 1. But recently, it's gone down precipitously. You know what? We went into Rafah. And you remember what the international community and the international press and many reported before that. We said they're going to be stuck there. There are 1.2 million people in Gaza. They moved from the north to the south. You're going to have thousands, 20,000 killed. You're going to have a catastrophe. Humanitarian catastrophe. You have no place to go. No food to eat. Now report honestly. Because here's what happened. They all left. They went to the humanitarian zone, which is 2 miles away, less, on the beach. They had tents. We supplied tents for 150,000 people. The aid agency supplied the rest, and some of them carried their own tents. They had a place. We supplied water lines, sewage lines, food. There's more to be done. Medical. So now we know how many people were killed. How many terrorists, because we counted. And we just passed 2,000. Terrorists, body counts of terrorists. The people left. How many civilians died? I asked the commander of the division that did the Rafah operation and the Philadelphia corridor. He said that, Mr. There are hardly any civilian deaths because everybody left. They heeded our warnings. But he said there were probably 24, and most of them occurred, 24, and most of them occurred when one of our bombs hit a Hamas ammunition depot that was planted inside a residential area. 40 people died, about 20 were terrorists, 20 were civilians. And he said that's most of the deaths. That's the lowest ratio of non-combatants to combatants in the history of urban warfare. That's it. Now report honestly, because you accused us of something that is outrageous. And in fact, the accusations against us are outrageously false. Humanitarian, 1 million trucks of aid, 1 million tons of aid, 700,000 tons of food, a deliberate starvation policy. You can say anything. Doesn't make it true. You repeat a lie over and over and over again. It assumes the cachet of self-evident truth, but it's false. Israel is doing, and the Israeli army is doing, something that no other army has done in history, and will continue to do that. I'm not going to change my policies. Humanitarian policies, vaccination policies.
Said he heard directly from you that you had endorsed a clear schedule and locations for the withdrawal of troops. Did you tell him that you would withdraw troops from the Philadelphia corridor at any point in a deal?
No, I said two things. I think you're conflating here two things. Number one, I agree to reduce the number of troops along the Philadelphia corridor. Okay, because we don't need a division and a half on this 8-mile corridor. We don't need that. Okay, they can both protect themselves and prevent the smuggling and terrorists of the hostages outside, and keep the corridor intact and prevent its porous perforation. So we don't need that much. And I said we can reduce the number of troops, and we did. But I think the other thing they're asking is what happens in phase 2. Okay, we're talking about phase 1, 42 days. We stay there, obviously. Again, in somewhat reduced presence because we don't need larger force. But we also agree to begin discussions about a permanent ceasefire and the conditions that we shall have for a permanent ceasefire must include a situation where the Philadelphia corridor cannot be perforated. Somebody has to be there. Somebody has to be able to look. I don't think there's going to be anyone who will actually show us, not on paper, not in words, not in a slide, but on the ground, day after day, week after week, month after month, that they can actually prevent the recurrence of what happened there before. We're open to consider it. But I don't see that happening. And until that happens, I don't see that happening right now. And until that happens, we're there. You wanted to ask another question, but go ahead. Okay.
My name is John Elizabeth Palmer from CBS. President Biden said you were not doing enough to reach the hostage deal. How do you interpret that? What's your response?
I think I've already answered that. I'm just talking about the facts. Just the facts. I said that in April, we gave an extraordinary generous offer, not my words, Secretary Blinken. On May 31st, we accepted the American proposal. Hamas refused. On August 16th, we accepted the second American proposal, final bridging proposal. Hamas, we accepted. Hamas again refused. On just last week, as I said, the deputy CIA director said that Israel has been serious about the negotiations. Hamas is not. So I've gone out of my way. I've given leeway to our negotiating teams 5 times. And I have areas of flexibility. But where I have to be firm, and I can be flexible, I'm flexible. But in fact, the obstacle has been Hamas from the beginning. Everybody knows that. Secretary Blinken said that. Others said that. We all know that. Should we do more? Well, we have a saying in Hebrew. I'll translate that as the test of results. Okay. The result is we've achieved the release of more than half the hostages, and a lot more than half of the living hostages. But as far as I'm concerned, there's still a task to be done. Because I'm committed to getting all of them. Look at them. In the right combination: military pressure, negotiating pressure, negotiating flexibility where we can. That is true. So I would direct the pressure and the rage where it belongs on those who took me. It's Hamas, city market.
Thank you. Bloomberg, Dan Williams. Dan Williams from Bloomberg. Back in April, you said Israel was but a step away from victory. A month, the National Security Advisor said the war would last into 2025. Now, a few months on, when will this war end? And a related question, please. A year ago, you were fitted with a pacemaker. I believe at times you were fitted with a halter to monitor the pacemaker. You said yesterday you sleep 2 hours a night. In your televised briefing, you get a couple hours in the wrong room. That may have been in jest. Nonetheless, you're under enormous stress, given the course of the war, given it appears to be open-ended, given the march of time. Do you believe you're in a position to sustain the management of this war?
Your first question was?
The first question was about the timeline to the war, given that you said in April it was a step away, you were a step away from victory, and then a month later, the National Security Advisor said it blossomed into the coming year.
Thank you. What I said, or what I meant to say, was that we're a step away from the critical thing that will pave our way to victory. I didn't think that we could have this victory if we didn't go into Rafah. And I withstood quite a bit of international pressure and American pressure to go into Rafah and to Philadelphia. I thought there's no way we can end this war without it, for the reasons I explained. So we did it. I said this before we completed this task. And we did indeed complete this task, and now we're in a position to destroy Hamas's militarily. There's still work to be done to destroy its governance capability. Primarily, I don't want to run Gaza, but I want to take away from Hamas the key thing that they have, other than the military, which we're destroying. You know, we're killing the senior commanders, we're killing their operators, we're destroying their tunnels, we're destroying their weapons manufacturing capability. We're stopping the cash. They don't have any cash. We found millions and millions of shekels in cash in these tunnels. They don't have any more cash. Part of the reason they're squeezed is because we control their money machine, which was the Rafah Plus. They don't have that. So we're choking. But there's one thing that they have, which is the distribution of food. They basically will let the trucks come in. They let all those trucks come in. And Hamas's strategy is to steal, hoard, and gouge. That's what they do. They take the food, they pay exorbitant prices. They steal the food, they charge exorbitant prices from Gaza, from the Gaza population. And that's how they continue to. They hope to continue to survive. Now we have to take that away from them. Again, I don't want to run Gaza. I don't want to administer Gaza, but I want to take this away from them. So we still have to do that. But we're well ahead in our program for victory, which we'll achieve, than we were a few months ago. And when I said what I said, I was right. The second question you ask is, how long can you do this? How long it takes to achieve this victory? And I think we're getting on this. And as long as the people of Israel can trust it. As far as my help is concerned,
Brothers asked on Sky News, I don't know if we can see that wider map of Israel again, whether it's
Go ahead, Sean.
You said at the beginning, slightly wide one. No, a bit wider. There we go. You said at the beginning of your speech that Hamas and others in the Middle East want to wipe Israel off the map. You have literally wiped the West Bank off that map. Is that official policy now that the West Bank doesn't exist?
No. I didn't include the Dead Sea. It's not shown in the map. I didn't show the Jordan River. It's on this map. I didn't show the Sea of Galilee.
There's some geographical features. This is a population of.
Well, I didn't get into that. I was talking about Gaza. There is a whole issue of what to do, how to achieve peace between us and the Palestinians in Judea and Samaria. I didn't get into that. That's another press conference. I'll be happy to do it. To wipe out some of the misconceptions and the slanders and lies that are directed at us. We don't intend to drive these people away. They want to drive us away. It's a big difference. Every day, they target us. You know what they teach in the schools and the PA schools? They teach exactly the same thing that they teach, the same textbooks as in the same textbooks here in the PA schools as here. Same thing. Israel has to be destroyed. Kill as many Jews. Pay for slave. The more Jews, the more Israelis you kill, the more you get paid. There's a difference in strategy. Hamas believes that the way to destroy Israel is through outright terror, military confrontation, backed by Iran. It's all part of the Iranian axis. The Palestinian Authority believes that the way to do it is by ICC, by having warfare, absurd charges leveled at Israel and its community. Enormous pressure to drive Israel to indefensible boundaries, where the boundaries would be right here, right next to Tel Aviv. That's it. 8, 10 miles from the sea, and don't push to the sea. There's a difference. But the goals are the same. No, I didn't show that, but if you want, I will show it. Next press conference, I guarantee you can ask all the questions you want, and I'll give you the answers, the true facts. that your readers and viewers do not get. In this horrible harangue of this one democracy fighting this just war, just means against the most horrendous savages on the planet. And Israel is being tempted. Israel is being pilloried. Israel is being slandered. This is something that not only affects the Jewish people. 80 years after the Holocaust, when our enemies are openly declaring that they'll make another Holocaust, it also affects a beleaguered democracy that is fighting the battle of all democracies against these barbarians. So yes, I'll be happy to talk about West Bank, the Palestinian Authority, you name it. And in fact, I'll educate you. There's one thing I do not do. There's tough questions. And I hope you accept some direct answers.
Mr. Netanyahu, Antonio Pita, Vice newspaper. First time I came here as a correspondent, it was 2007. I was here for 7 years, and I came back right before the elections. I find it hard to recall a speech in which you mentioned Philadelphia corridor, at least gave it a lot of importance. Why suddenly in the last few weeks it seems as the future of Israel depends on that?
Now, I hope that it's your own recollection and not something that you heard on the news or in our, in some of our reporting. Netanyahu has not mentioned the Philadelphia corridor. Right? So here's what I said. Okay, when I resigned from Sharon's government because I couldn't agree with the policy, so I resigned. I was finance minister, and I said to them in the closing of the resignation letter, I said, at least we should stay in the Philadelphia corridor, because otherwise this is going to become Hamastan. Which it did. And I talked about it before that too. And then now we talk about this war, right? We had a lot of discussions in security meetings about the Philadelphia corridor, about the smuggling, and we had an option. What do we do? What do we do about it? You know? Because the only way to deal with it really was to conquer Gaza. But we knew we didn't have neither the domestic legitimacy nor the international legitimacy to do. Look how much program we have now after this worst savagery that was delivered to the Jewish people since the Holocaust, and we still have. Look at all the questions you're asking. Look at all the international pressure that's put up. So certainly we didn't have that legitimacy before the October 7th massacre. And so what we did was basically attack Hamas every time, attack it again and again and again. I was prime minister led 4 of these operations, in which we killed 6,000 of their terrorists. We killed their military chief, John Rienspoon, and others. But we didn't go in. The only way we could deal with the Philadelphia corridor was to conquer Gaza. The only way we could conquer Gaza was to have the legitimacy that we lacked until October 7th. Once it happened, we went into Gaza, and guess what? First time I talked about the Philadelphia corridor, I called it the Southern Segal Dumi, the Southern Barrier. So we need a Southern Barrier. Okay? And we discussed 2 possibilities: one, the Philadelphia corridor, and one, 1 or 2 kilometers north of that sign. But it was clear you have to stop. Can you show that map again of the perforation? No, not that one. Not that one either. We have to stop this. If we don't stop this, we've achieved nothing. So I spoke about it publicly. First time in November. You know when the war began. Right? But that's my first policy. Now, you should check this out. My research team, just by punching up, found 8 references every month about the Southern corridor. I can tell you that in our internal discussion, in the war cabinet, and in the general cabinet, I talked about it. So here again, there's a misrepresentation of fact. We're using this as a pretext. This is just a way, a political ploy. It's not political. You have to be blind not to see this. I'm not doing it. More the people of Israel, they overwhelmingly support keeping this border in our hands because they understand that this is something that we must do, both to achieve our goal of winning the war, but also to put the pressure to release our hostages, and we will do so. But I can tell you, it's not the first time.
Kingsley, New York Times. Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister, for this. Patrick Kingsley, New York Times. Thank you for this press briefing. If the Philadelphia corridor was so important to you, why did the Israeli army not head for it first when you invaded Gaza in late October? If it was so important to you, why was it not even mentioned in the May 27th proposal that Israel made to the negotiators? If the disengagement from Gaza was so important to you, why did you personally vote for it at that time before leaving government? And finally, you mentioned Israel not intending to administer Gaza after the war. Does that mean you can unequivocally rule out settling Gaza with Israeli civilians?
Don't have an opinion. I'll write down. I explained that it was important enough that we had it. It was clear we were going to conquer all of Gaza, that we didn't have a choice. But the sequencing, and I won't get into the military consideration, which the cabinet accepted in this case. We were uniform. We didn't know when we go in what exactly would happen. We knew there was a vortex, a main nerve center in Gaza City, around the Shifa Hospital and elsewhere. And this was the progression that was there, was supposed to continue with one fell swoop. We had a lot of options to get down to Rafah and the Philadelphia corridor. Took us about 3 months, but the idea was to do it very fast, and we did. Now, once we've done it, but obviously we're going to keep it. You asked why, if it was so important for you, did you vote for the disengagement? Number one, I voted in the capital in the Knesset. I was finance minister. I wanted to do some important reforms and revolutionize the Israeli economy. You can see it in the skyline of Tel Aviv and Israel, so to say. Basically, free market reforms. And I was caught in a quandary because I wanted to complete these reforms, but I knew that once the government actually votes to tear out the communities and to get out, that's it. My reforms would be styling Israel, would not become the technological and economic powerhouse that it became. So the question was, and the government didn't quite do this. They were careful. The government in which I was part, they basically said, okay, we haven't decided yet on whether we leave. What we're going to do is create the possibility by the Knesset bills that if we decide to leave, there'll be compensation for those who leave. That was the vote, famous vote that we could show on television. So anyway, when the actual vote came in the cabinet to leave, I said, you have to stay in there. You can't leave the Philadelphia corridor. And I resigned from the government. So I voted against it. That's important. You asked another question.
Can we say something? Daniel?
Okay. The May 27th Israeli proposal, May 27th American proposal, said that did not contradict in any way our going into Rafah crossing. We talked with the Americans. We said a number of conversations we have to be southern area of their lives to be able to deal with it, but it doesn't contradict. There's no contradiction between that and the May 27th proposal, and we're quite clear about it. I think the Americans know our position, right? As far as research, I don't think it's realistic. I said it in front of my government. Thank you.
Last question.
Go ahead.
Good evening. Hello? Can you hear me? Marie Noshna RT. Mr. Prime Minister, we've heard a lot today about Philadelphia corridor. I have one very specific question.
What do you represent?
RT, Registered Television. Was the Israeli control over the Philadelphia corridor ever mentioned in any of the versions of the deal that Hamas accepted. And today, is it the only obstacle to the deal, the only disagreement between the sides, or there are other disagreements? Thank you very much.
Well, there's a premise in your question that is simply wrong. You say it was mentioned in the deal that Hamas accepted. Hamas didn't accept the deal. On the May 27th proposal, they had 29 changes, corrections, 29, which effectively vitiated any of them from any meaning. It was a rejection. In fact, a detailed rejection of the deal. So while we accepted it as is, we didn't make any changes. And I didn't bring any new condition. Anything that contradicts anything that is said there, Hamas basically wiped the floor with it. I mean, they wouldn't accept it. They didn't accept that, and they didn't accept the bridging proposal. And Al-Khia, who was the deputy, Sinwar's deputy, said 2 days ago, we remain steadfast. What do we want? No, they didn't accept it. No, they didn't. Yeah. You want the facts. Okay. So the fact is, they rejected the May 20th. They said they accepted it, but they have 27 or 29 rather corrections. That's like, I don't know, the German government saying we accept the American proposal, but we're going to stay in Berlin. We're going to control Germany. We're going to go out and we can be suppliers. But we accepted your proposal. Because we did. They put in 29 corrections that essentially was a sound and detailed rejection of the deal. I don't care, how they frame it for public purposes. It's meaningless. We know the truth. And again, they flatly rejected the bridging proposal. And yesterday, or 2 days ago, Al-Khia flatly rejected it again. And he said, what does he say? He basically says, Israel has to get out. Everything, including the Philadelphia corridor, and we can rearm ourselves. Do October 7th again and again and again. So it's not that they accepted. You asked the second question, which is, is it the only obstacle? No, it's not. In fact, we have the Philadelphia corridor. We have the what's the ratio of hostages to civilians to terrorists who are released? Do we have a veto power over these terrorists because some of them committed the worst atrocities you can imagine? Should they come back to Judea Samaria, or can we take them out of the country and so on and so on? The whole thing. It's not been resolved. Hamas has rejected everything. And we're trying to find some area to begin the negotiations. They refuse to do that. 2 days ago, they said, well, there's nothing to talk about. So I hope that changes. Because I want those hostages out. I want those families. I want those mothers to see their loved ones. I don't want to see a repetition of what I saw in Ashkelon. These portrait souls. I want them to have happiness, just like the ones that we rescued were able to rescue. Took out. We brought 117 people. By the way, I insisted that the first year we talked about 50. And I said, no, we're going to get 50 more. And I talked to President Biden, I appreciate it. And we brought it up from 50 to 80. That's 80 souls that came back to life. Their families came back to life. So, look, I'll do everything I can to get these people out. But the pressure should be directed where it belongs. It's not on Israel. It's on Hamas. Thank you all. You've been very nice.
That's it. The stage is now open. Shlomo, you wanted to say something?
Yeah. Yes, what I want to say is that anyone that has any brain and looks at things clearly, even not clearly, can see that Israel must hold control of the route into Gaza from Egypt, because Egypt is not interested or unable to prevent rearming of weapons and escape of high-ranking terrorists, which are now contained within Gaza. Now, what Israel has done, a clear thinker should see that they have sacrificed IDF soldiers by the hundreds in order to attempt to bring out live or even, unfortunately, deceased hostages. They've actually, it's right there. That's what they've done. They sacrificed the lives because of the importance of destroying Hamas, which they said would be a 2-year operation, completely, against the irrational thinking of American political leaders from the left who only want to be political, not realists.
Oh, I have a phone call. I'll be right back.
I thought that was a pretty good press conference. It's interesting to see the gap between what the press believes, and you can see what they believe based on the premises of their questions, and what where Bibi is coming from. Let's just put it that way. Including this weird idea that the Philadelphia corridor is somehow new or irrelevant, or now Bibi's just coming up with this idea of controlling the border between Egypt and Gaza, through which the arms and other material come, and also through which terrorists pass back and forth. It's just weird to act as if they don't understand the importance of this strategically. Smoke detector, I'm going to mute up.
I was watching some news that said Hamas has like $2.5 billion of funding right now because of all the contributions that people are making. How much of that's true?
Well, the world has been pouring money into Gaza. And we can see that they're not using it for the economic development for which it was intended. Hang on, I'm getting the smoke detector to stop doing that. You can probably hear it. They've been using it to build tunnels, and they've been using it to steal it. I mean, they are primitive enough to take the aid and not give it to their own people, and to steal it and just hoard it, which is just very barbaric, I would say. No, I mean, I don't know how much money they have, but we know they've been hoarding the money and using it for to make war on Jews.
The current estimates make it at $7 billion. $7 billion plus $150 million a month from Middle East, plus $212 million from Turkey. I don't know what the fuck it is. Just putting it out.
Yeah, we've been sinking money. So when you hear people complaining that we're giving money to Israel, we give a ton of money to the Palestinians, and this is what they do with it. They use it to undermine the West. They're not just undermining Israel. They have America in their sights as well, and people are in denial about that as well, and Europe. These guys are all connected through the Muslim Brotherhood. And the Muslim Brotherhood has a policy of destroying the West and giving the world the option to convert to Islam or submit to our rule and pay our jizya or die. That's the jihad that we're up against. I'm sorry, what were you going to say?
Norm, who's fighting against that? Which political party in America is fighting against that?
I agree with you, Shlomo. I mean, I'm not as far to the left as you may think. I'm realistic. I'll put it that way. I'm not in Egypt, and I'm not living in denial.
Hi, this is John.
Hi, John. I'm reaching out with Home Depot regarding a water heater installation.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. My name's Eric. I'll be helping you out today. And yeah, what's going on with the old water heater?
It's just 15 years old, so I want to replace it.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. Honestly, that's the best thing to do. Yeah, normally they last like 8-12, and then you just start waiting for it to leave you the hot water or just pop it. Okay. And how many gallons is the old one?
I think it's 40.
40. Okay. And by any chance, do you have the model number on you?
No, I don't. I'd have to go down there. Do you want me to go over there? I can look at it real quick.
Okay, I mean, it's up to you.
Yeah. Let me just go down there and look at it. Hold on. It's in a single family or it's in like a coach house, basically. First floor.
So I'll go ahead and give you a price for placing one of those units. And now, so how we like to do things here is basically it'll be like in a package deal. Okay? So it'll come with the water heater, delivery, removal, training, throwing away the old one, parts, code issues. You don't have to worry about any surprises. Tank warranty, labor warranty. We even offer a 1-year best price guarantee.
Okay.
So you still have a year to shop around, and we'll match it post installation.
Oh, I don't think I'll be shopping around to call you guys back.
Gotcha. Okay. But yeah.
Okay.
But as for the tanks, normally we offer 2 options, the 6-year and the 12-year options. Basically, the differences between both is the 12-year tank is like a stronger unit. It's self-cleaning with the double the lifespan. And the price on the 40-gallon 60-year model, the price for the package, that one is $2,014.26. And then for the stronger unit with the double the lifespan, that one is $2,309.12. And yeah, we could do it how today or tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't really want. I mean, I want to purchase the unit through the app because I kind of know the unit I want, and I'm getting the military discount on it. So I just wanted to like. No, I don't need a warranty on it. I just wanted to purchase the unit and get a quote for an install.
Okay. Yeah. So you said a military discount. So yeah. Normally, how we'll do is we'll like buy it for you. We'll take it to you and we'll install it. And normally, it's like cheaper in the whole package deal. But yeah, if you are military, I want to thank you for your service. I'm able to knock off $100, which is basically 10% off the tank material. For the package. But yeah, if you wanted to do like the just labor, right? Price for that, it would be $1,196.
Okay. All right. Let's do that.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. For what?
Oh, but that doesn't include the unit. Oh, that does include the unit.
The 1,196.
Yeah.
That's not including the unit, no.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a $1,500 total, right? Somewhere around there, because the unit I'm gonna buy is like $400.
So roughly. So if you buy the unit, like and have it delivered to your home, right, or pick it up in store, it'd be like $519, and then after taxes, and yeah.
So what's the point of me sending you guys pictures if it's just a fixed price, right? Because it's $1,100, pretty much fixed, correct?
So normally the pictures are just to help like identify like what would be the best unit for your home, right? Like normally, like sometimes they'll have like a 5-footer in there, but like the venting isn't like proper, right?
Oh,
So they need to like they better build a short one in there, right? So stuff like that, you know, if it's like a tight space, sometimes we might be able to catch it beforehand. Now we bring out like something a little more skinnier, and stuff like that.
Got it. All right. Well, then I think I'm just gonna pass because I got a plumber who can install this thing for $400. So I'm just gonna go with him. But I appreciate your time and have a great day.
Right, yeah. Have a good rest of your day. Take care.
Thanks, you too. Take care. Bye bye. Damn, son.
factors. It wasn't Roe v. Wade that started this polarization. So we've had this for a long time. One of the things, too, I think you have to look at is the rate of infertility in our culture. Women are having children later, and the infertility industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry because women are choosing not to have children at a younger age where it would be easier, so they're having children at an older age, which is more difficult biologically, right? So now you've created this multi-billion-dollar infertility industry, right, with the IVF and surrogates and all of the rest of it, which is actually, it's created an industry, abortion, and I guess what we can call not having children at a time when traditionally women would have children in their 20s and 30s for reasons of, career and so forth. Those, that opened the door. But now it's just, I don't feel like it. I don't want to lose my freedom. The reasonings are more like, it's kind of like the same reasonings you have a cat. I think these are societal mores. I think our ideologies have changed. And I'm only speaking of Western culture, but in other countries, that's not true. And as a result, birth rate has gone down and infertility has gone up, which is actually really sad if you think about it. That, in its sense, if you look at the sociological effects of this ideology of not having children and or becoming pregnant and then terminating it, I don't think people realize you only have a window, okay, to have kids, right? And because IVF has extended that window, and freezing eggs and so forth and so on, it's kind of made it an a la carte thing. Oh, I'm going to have a baby when I'm 50. Well, you can, but it's difficult. And there's a lot of complications. And of course, you're feeding an entire infertility industry, which insurance does not cover. That's just cash only. So it is economically driven, I believe.
So you're addressing not a woman's right to choose, but the ideology that has put us in this position. So that can be addressed without changing the right to abortion, right?
Well, I think when you make something easily accessible, and by the way, it wasn't abolished abortion, it was kicked back to the states, which means the federal government doesn't cover it, which means the federal government doesn't pay for it. I mean, I hate to keep going back to the economics of this, but if there wasn't an economic equation behind these policies, we wouldn't even be talking about them. The federal government no longer is going to fund government, paid for abortions. When before they did, it was in part.
What changed was
right.
Previously, the Supreme Court had ruled that women have a right to an abortion up to the point of sustainability. Now, the Supreme Court has changed its view, which is, again, goes against what the justices promised they would do, by the way, but okay. Goes against stare decisis, but okay. And they said, well, she doesn't necessarily, they say that the Constitution is silent on this matter. Let the states figure it out. So I do not.
They didn't overturn Roe v. Wade. They overturned.
Yeah, they did.
No. Hold on. Legally, they overturned Casey. That was the case that Roe v. was decided upon. Casey was overturned.
I'm not sure what you're trying to say there.
It canceled out Roe v. Yes. In other words,
what is this? What is the difference here that you're trying to make?
The difference is nothing. It's a legal technicality, but people think that Roe v. Wade was relitigated and it was overturned. It was Casey that Roe v. was decided upon. That was the precedent. Once the precedent is overturned, which Casey was the precedent, then Roe v. Automatically becomes null and void. That's all. They didn't go in there and bring out all the documentation of Roe v. They actually examined the law from its inception, and every justice, including Scalia, who's my preferred justice because he's an originalist, and RBJ, who is the left's hero, and I love her opinions on many things as well, both agreed that this was bad law, that it was decided on the amendment, and it was decided upon privacy.
It was bad law, but it was law.
It was law that was not within the Constitution. When we say bad law, we're saying that the reasoning that was used to decide...
That depends on your constitutional perspective. It wasn't in an originalist perspective, but it was in a living Constitution perspective. So it was okay for Breyer or Souter, let's just say Breyer, but not okay for Scalia. It was okay for RBG or Sotomayor.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I've been in lectures. Ruth Bader Ginsburg spoke about Roe v. and said she didn't agree with the opinion. She said it was decided upon wrong reasoning.
I know this. It's famous. Okay. But she would never have voted to overrule it or to undo it. Okay. Right?
I mean, in all honesty, I think it caused more trouble than it was worth. If you want to know my.
For a lot of women, it solved a lot of problems.
No, I mean overturning it was more trouble. I'm saying overturning it was trouble. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They should have just left it alone. That's all I'm saying.
That's what most people thought up until very recently.
But I don't agree with abortion. It's not that I want abortion to be outlawed. I want it to not be necessary. And that's a whole different thing, because then you would have to go through the concept of what is family planning and pregnancy prevention and so forth and so on. But I don't believe the 7 months late term abortion termination should be lawful. And they took it out of the criminal statute. They put it in the healthcare statute, right? Because it would be infanticide otherwise. They changed it. They took it out of the criminal statute of terminating a pregnancy at 8 months. They put it in the healthcare, and that's why now it is what it is. It's manipulation from top to bottom. There's no question. Has it caused?
What does that mean? Manipulation from top to bottom. What does that mean?
It means that when something is within a certain subset of statutes, so we have criminal statutes, civil statutes. These are all the different laws that we have within civil. This to kill a child, kill a fetus beyond a point that was like 5 months or 20 weeks or what have you, it would be considered, and it's a case by case, but that state could prosecute the mother for infanticide.
Yeah.
Okay. So we don't have that anymore because the
position is that it's not a citizen.
Okay, it's a human being, whether it's
not a human being. It doesn't have its soul yet, if you want to argue theologically.
No, at 8 months it does. At 7 months it does.
No, not the. I don't know. I mean, a soul is a theological argument, right? And according to the basis of our theology, which is the Torah, the soul comes into the body at birth, when it takes its first breath.
Okay, so we have the heartbeat law. You know, I only.
Where is that?
It's the heartbeat bill. It's a
where is that? Where do you have that bill?
It's called the heartbeat bill. You can look it up.
You said it 3 times. Where is that?
I don't know what you mean. Where it is? It's online.
Where did this bill exist? Is this in the U.S. House of Representatives, in the U.S. Senate, in Texas, in Ohio? Where is this bill? It's a U.S. bill?
In the United States, yeah. It makes abortion illegal as early as week's gestation stage.
Okay. So when you said we have it, who did you mean we? Somebody...
Now, whether it's adopted it goes by state.
So a bill is not a law until it is affirmed by both houses of Congress and signed by the president. This is very basic. So we don't have a heartbeat law based on what you just said.
It's passing through political branches of government in about a dozen states. And most of the courts did strike it down. But I'm saying that Texas Heartbeat Act, and that's one of them, that's the Heartbeat Act, it's a Texas one. I'm saying there are laws that are being passed that are supporting the ideology that abortion should be 6 weeks or 10 weeks or 20 weeks or what have you. It's up to the states, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
It's not up to the government, the federal government. Now, you can argue
it's up to a different government.
Yeah.
It's up to a different government.
It's up to state governments, yeah.
Yeah, so it's still a government. It's just a different government. But okay. So some states have a heartbeat law.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
One could argue with them.
And
that's when I said where. That's what I meant. Who? Well, who's the we or where? Is there a heartbeat law? Yeah, we'll see if it's constitutional. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah, it has to be adopted by the state governments. I agree with you, and it's not always the most convenient thing because people get confused because people from other countries. I'm saying because we do have a state legislation and we have a federal, and those two things don't always match, right? It's just but essentially 17 to 20 weeks of gestation is where we're at, which is what they're allowing. Okay, now.
So this is the old standard of viability, I think, largely. Heartbeat viability.
It's based on the fact that the heart is formed to be able to hear a fetal heartbeat between 17 and 20 weeks. That's what that is. That's why it's called that.
Okay. I mean, some people like that. It's not based on anything either medical or biological or theological.
No, the heart is. I mean, this is gynecological and obstetrician data.
Why is the beating of the heart the criterion?
Why the beating of the heart the criterion?
Yeah.
Because I guess they use that as being the point of saying, okay, this child can live outside the body because its heart is beating on its own. I mean, I don't know about the biological, in the details of it, and I'm not really concerned because my whole thing is I'm trying to understand the societal and the legal ramifications of these laws. I don't get involved with what people think or how they feel. Those are all up to them. All I care about is what is actually material fact and what isn't. I don't really deal with anything else. So I don't have feelings about it. I really don't.
Okay, so material fact is that there are some religions, some forms of Christianity that believe that the being inside the mother is a human being. And there are other religions that do not believe this. And we have freedom of religion under the First Amendment. So one is free to practice their religion, but one should not impose it on others. That's another argument. So heartbeats seems arbitrary. I mean, obviously the heart is a very emotional and central organ, criterion. It's the subject of poetic rhapsodizing. But again, if somebody is an atheist and they don't believe that the fetus is a human being, then there's no real justification, I think, for preventing them from having an abortion. That's just giving you a counter argument. I'm not a fan of lots of abortions, but I am a fan of personal sovereignty and a woman's right to choose based on the arguments that I made. You know, one guy said, well, it's possible that it could become, a baby. So based on that argument, I'm against abortion. I mean, that's a personal judgment. That would, I guess, justify him not having an abortion if he was the father and the mother was consulting him. But again, so far, all I see is that this is a very personal decision. And I agree with you that the country should not ideologically be so callous and careless about A, lying to women that they can have a kid whenever they want because they can't. B, leaving them sort of up a creek without a paddle when they get to be, say, 35 and their fertility is plummeting. Or C, telling them that they don't have to have a baby at all. Then suddenly they realize, oh my God, I just miss life here. I miss one of the most significant, fulfilling aspects of being a human being. So all of that stuff is wrong, and I do believe that that's happening. But again, that's ideology. One could not touch a woman's right to have an abortion and address those ideological matters. But as you said, the fact that you can have an abortion is going to influence ideology because it's right there. So you have sex with somebody because you think that they're cute and you get pregnant. And then you say, well, listen, I'm not going to stay with this guy and I'm still going to graduate school, so I'm going to get an abortion. That's true. Medical advances. By the way, birth control also makes it a lot easier to have sex with people. But, you know, we're not going to...
That was part of the whole women's feminist revolution, the first wave of
I guess so.
Yeah, which allowed women sexual freedom, sexual autonomy, and we understand that. What I'm saying, though, however, is that please do not discount the fact that the laws that we have regarding a woman's right to choose an abortion feeds another entirely different monster, which is the infertility industry.
I don't know why that's a monster.
Well, no. It's because it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. It's not just...
So what? Why, you against industry?
No. I'm not. I'm saying it's creating economic need, right? It's creating a market for people later on in life to embark on very expensive treatments that also have detriment to the woman's health, by the way, because taking hormones and so forth have been shown to cause early onset of various reproductive cancers and things like that. There is that, but we don't talk about it, right? Because that does happen. And when women have to take hormones and they have to go on hormone therapy because they're later on in life and they're trying to get pregnant, there is that side of it. But you never hear people talking. There's risks to that too. Okay, I mean, it's a choice. You can do that. You can go on hormone therapy. It does have its downside and it has its risks. I'm just saying you trade one for another. I think, you have to kind of consider the fact that when you choose to have a kind of, I don't want to say on-demand abortion because that's wrong because, it sounds callous, right? We don't want to have on-demand. But if it's tempered and it's calculated and it's done at the right time, then sure, you can have the abortion. Don't wait till 9 weeks and the baby's on the table and you're like, you know what? I got stuff I got to do. You can't do that. You can't terminate a life. This is, I think, where the confusion is. Of course, it's propaganda. A lot of it is media hype and so forth. We don't really know the truth. We really don't understand, when can you safely and terminate a fetus's life, right? So
what do you mean by that?
We as a society, we can
safely for who?
Huh?
Safely for who?
Safely for the woman and the child. Yeah.
Well, why do you say we don't know?
Because I think voters have to decide that when they go to the polls, they might say, no, I don't support abortion at 9 weeks, 8 weeks, but I do support it at 20 weeks. So they have to be able to, tick that off on their ballot. Like, for example, whether that's asked or not, I don't know. But people they have agreement to abortion within limits, right? Within limits. They don't, it's not, late term is a different conversation. Late term is like buyer's remorse. It's like you've been pregnant all this time. So now you don't want it. That's different. When you find out and you're 20 weeks, and I know I've heard the arguments, people don't know. You don't know you're 6 months pregnant? You're walking around? I don't buy that.
What are you talking about, guys?
I'm sorry, we're talking about abortion.
No, I was listening, but I was bugging that at the end it will come down to something that I missed, but okay.
No, El Normo was after.
It's because I asked Norm what his leftist beliefs are.
When I said social safety net and abortion, a woman's right to choose.
What does social safety net mean?
All of the guarantees that an affluent society can provide to people, and they fall on hard times, from medical care to food to social services. I believe in public education. Those are examples of the.
Whatever happened to alms for the poor?
I don't know. We do that too.
Anyone here Okay, what?
El Normo.
נושא של הטייטל, זה בדיוק מה שאני עושה. Anyone I wanna try to go back to Phoebe's press conference, if anyone, or the general topic, more Middle East, I understand the US and abortion.
I actually posted something in the chat, Daniel, before we got off on the abortion thing, which I'm really not an expert. I just posted something on the chat about Miguel Correa. I don't know if anyone knows who he is, but it's essentially he was the one who coined the Abraham Accords He was the 2-star general from Puerto Rico that people don't know about, but he's extremely pivotal in this historic treaty of the Abraham's Accord. And I put the link in the chat for anyone who wants to read it, because I think it's very interesting.
A link to what?
A link to the general who coined the Abraham Accords. He's a 2-star general from Puerto Rico.
No. Yeah, you said it. I mean, a link to what? Like a link to his face, like to.
No, it's an article.
An article that
exists. From the Jewish Disciple.
Okay, got it. Like story about him, or like.
Well, it's
Zionism is Nazism.
What? No.
It is, but Nazism kills Jews. I don't get it.
And Jews were Nazis also.
No, Jews are not Nazis.
Yes, they were.
Yes, they were.
Yes, they were.
No,
it's
they weren't.
That they were Jewish.
No, it's a known fact that
they were Nazis.
And now, hold on. You don't need to jump on every ignorant person that triggers us. We can
But I enjoy it.
Obviously. Yeah, but I understand.
Why would you deprive me of pleasure?
There were Jews who walked other Jews right into the concentration camp.
Because we don't need to. First of all, you don't need to acknowledge this idiocy and respect it with an answer. You can maybe ask him if he was educated, or if he knows what Nazism is or what Zionism is. You don't need to take no and say yes, no, yes. I know he doesn't, but
of course, who doesn't know what Zion is? You got an animal. You got an animal named Theodore Herschel, who was an atheist, telling people that their homeland is Israel.
Theodore Herschel.
Yeah, that coward, the atheist. And then he conspired. I'm from America.
No. That is
America.
We know where you're from, my friend. We can tell where you're from.
I'm just interested. I'm not very good.
I can tell where your immigrant ass is from too.
I'm from Washington D.C., motherfucker.
Yeah, you're a fucking / Jewish national. You fucking pig.
I was
from
born
Poland somewhere.
D.C.
You're a fucking Polak.
You're from Ukraine or somewhere.
I'm from your mama's house after last night.
Wait, no.
You was fucking your mother in the Bigfoot, her ass with the blanket over her. That's how you stinky Jews.
Guys, we don't need to go down to his level.
No.
Okay?
Oh my God, boss! I wanted to talk to you like night.
He left. Okay.
Sorry.
No, I mean, you need to respect yourself. I mean, you and also Normo, you don't need to go down to his level and curse. I mean, let him embarrass himself. Let him show his true colors. Let him be unmasked. You don't need to be the same as him.
Oh no! By the way, just to be clear for everyone else, I kicked him down. I will invite him up if he will be able to be civil and talk about all of the issues that he has with Zionism. Boss, you can write in the room chat. Will you be able to do it? Will you be able to conduct a civil discussion with me or with us?
I need you to follow me around and remind me of that.
Boss, I don't want the N-word in the chat, Daniel.
Wait. Yeah. I also don't like it. Swifty, please don't. Let me just delete it.
Would you delete it?
Yeah. I'll delete it real quick. Okay, yeah. Okay. Oh my God, Swifty, don't use those words.
Even with the A.
Wait, boss. Can you please tell me? I will be civil in this conversation. Just write it down in the room chat, and I will invite you up.
That's sweet.
We will give you the time to speak. No one will interrupt you, Daniel, please.
No, it's not there yet, but go ahead. No, further play with the food, but I understand, it's almost desperate to talk to those people,
Okay, I invited him.
Zionists are desperate people.
Wait. Okay, boss, 1 second. So can you please tell us, what is your problem with Zionism? Go ahead.
My problem with Zionism is that a bunch of Europeans, after being persecuted by the Nazis, came into the Palestinian lands and depopulated them. They exiled them there through means of terrorism. That's my problem with Zionism.
Okay. So, are you familiar with any of the history of Zionism?
I'm very familiar with every bit of it.
Okay. So, Theodor Herzl, that you referenced before, was actually very peaceful. He was talking about how the Jews
He was not peaceful.
He called him Herschel.
Rody,
You're lying. He was not perfect.
remember what we were talking about an hour ago?
Wait, Ishmael, why are we?
Well, I just wanted,
By the way, okay, go ahead, Ishmael. What did you
I
say?
just wanted to kindly remind you, without trolling, what we spoke about an hour ago, where people operate under emotions and the facts are not as important.
That's fine. I remember that. If I fake, it would be, a waste of time. I will continue. But it seems to me like Boss right now chilled, and we're having just like a chill conversation. Boss, please go ahead. You said that he wasn't peaceful. What made you say that?
What made me say that is because him and his co-conspirators knew, in order for them to migrate all the Jews from Europe into that land, they were going to have to depopulate the people that were already there. They knew that from the very start. It's a known fact.
Okay, so can you please show me one quote from Theodor Herzl anywhere? Because, by the way, I can show you multiple quotes that he wants to be in a community.
Not a problem. Norman
Absolutely.
Nicholas, they wrote about all these things. It's all been exploited. They have documents about it. They were all criminals.
Yeah, go ahead.
Bring us the receipt.
No.
Bring us the receipt.
So when you say depopulate, there are now 10 times as many people there as there were in 1948.
Once again, another talking
So it
point
sounds
Zionist lie.
Well, no.
This is what happened. No, you made sense of that. Now let me respond.
I haven't
People,
finished.
How the population? No, let me respond. You're lying.
I haven't finished.
I don't have to let you finish because I know what you're going to say.
No, you don't know what I'm going to say.
Okay, Boss, please don't interrupt El. He was right now speaking. Let him speak.
Thank you.
Please, El, go.
I'll tell you a couple things. In order to factually check the claim that somebody had to depopulate an area, we should simply check the population of the area at point A, say 1948, and the population of the area today, 2024. So I will say that off the top of my head, back of the envelope, the population today is 13 million altogether. There were about 750,000 Palestinians. There were also in Israel. You have a better number? Israel and the Palestinian territories, including the Palestinian territories. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's 9.303 million for Israel.
Well, don't derail it because we're talking about the whole region. So I think I'm right. And around 1948, there were about 2 million. So the population has increased. That's a 600% increase in the population, not a depopulation. So there's a lie there. Was there another claim that he made? Oh yeah, about Ashkenazi Jews. So Rody, you're a good example. You are from Iraq. So the people of Iraq are not Ashkenazi Jews, and most of the people in Israel are not. Most of the Jews are not Ashkenazi. So now we've debunked 2 of your lies, and now you can respond if you want to.
You didn't debunk no lies.
Okay, the first thing is that
you said we're debunking anything, by the way.
So I think the population.
I disagree with your arguments, but I disagree with your arguments, but I'll let Boss speak.
You're welcome to disagree with me. So number one,
everyone knows.
I'm going to answer your
once
question.
again, you told me when I was talking, you gotta be quiet, right? But I'm telling you here, Rob. When he was talking, I was quiet, right?
Boss, please chill.
Very aggressive.
You're being biased.
Yeah.
When he was talking, you told me to mute, and I did.
Thank you.
And then I was talking now.
Boss. I was referring a specific comment to L. I'm allowing him to speak because I did a mistake to refer to him a comment, okay? He can respond to me, not to you. Yeah. And then he will respond to L. Go ahead, L.
So the 2 lies. Number 1, depopulation. If anything, the population has increased 600%. By the way, 20% of Israel is Arab. That is lie number 1, debunked. Lie number 2, Ashkenazi. Most people in Israel are not Ashkenazi. That is therefore a debunking of the lie that somehow this was merely an Ashkenazi project. Zionism is the expression of the eternal desire of the Jews since we were formed and since we were expelled from our homeland of Israel to return to our homeland. And that is what we have done. So I've debunked 2 lies and added some information that it seems like you didn't have. Now I'll mute up.
Okay, once again, those are lies, and those are lies that he uttered out his mouth because that's what.
So which part of the lie?
Do.
Which
You
part
see,
of the
he's
lie?
doing it again. He's doing it again.
Boss, why are you crying?
Why are you letting him do it and then complain that I do it?
Oh my God! I am the moderator, not you. Just get this into your head. I am the moderator. I literally now told Elle not to interrupt in the same way that I told you not to interrupt. Oh my God! Like, are you like 14 years old? Never mind. I can't invite him to speak anymore. Fuck.
That's
Why
the point.
are American
Why do you have
black
to
people?
tell him to
Here,
instead of just muting him like you do me?
Why are American black people so interested in Jews?
And look, he's still rubbing his mouth.
Because Elle wasn't persistent as you are.
Sure,
Go ahead, boss. Your turn.
Once again, the guy with the bad breath lying as usual.
So which one was a lie, boss?
Okay. 1 second.
But you ain't throwing him down yet.
Speak. That this is what I did right now, boss. Oh my God! Please don't try to teach me how to mod my rooms, boss. Go ahead.
Okay. Once again, it's just ingenuous lies. How the Palestinian population grew in Gaza, for example, is for the mere fact, once again, to the expulsion of many Palestinians from other parts of